Hello everyone, and welcome back to Technically Unsure, where I'm not really sure what I'm doing technically.
Impressive. You're actually smarter than you look.
In this video, we are going to take a look a little bit at SBCs, but on the security side. What I mean by that, one of the last videos that I did was related to a computer, small form computer I found that had SPF ports and 2.5 gigabit Ethernet ports, and it was a perfect machine and a very, very fair price to run a pfSense on it. Let me show you actually. This is the device, right? We covered this. I installed pfSense. And I heard you guys left comments on that. You want me to show you how you can set up a proper pfSense and how to set up VLANs and all the security features on top of secure your home network, all that. Hopefully I will do it in a video. I also received some comments that I should try OpenSense. I'm gonna be very honest, I have never used it. Nowhere close to being an expert or anything like that in OpenSense. pfSense, on the other hand, I kind of know what I'm doing, but I will probably do a pfSense. That being said, one of the comments that I always get on every single video that I do, I review a motherboard, I review an SBC. Oh, it does have a backdoor. Oh yeah, how about the Chinese backdoor? How about the Chinese, malware in there? I hear you, and I'm not trying to downplay that. There has been a lot of incidents that happened that, devices came out of China, had backdoors in it. The one example that I was personally involved with, not that I bought it, but I investigated it, was one of the Android TV boxes that was coming with an Android malware, okay? There is a history, I understand, I hear you, you're right. But what I want to say is we have to work and figure out and prove and have document and evidence. Without it, it's just hot air, right? So what I'm gonna do, I showed you guys this. I kinda, not too much, I kinda trust CWWK. I don't think they have rootkits or anything in this. So in the other boards that I reviewed, like motherboards, Chinese motherboards, you guys were telling me that, okay, there's Intel ME, there's backdoor. Okay, so first of all, that's not a Chinese backdoor, it's just Intel backdoor, whatever. If it is a backdoor, you have to keep doing this for that backdoor, okay? All right, let's say there is a backdoor. For that Intel ME videos, I started doing it. For every single Chinese motherboard that I reviewed, almost every single, in the video, I showed you guys, I removed the Intel ME and I flashed it back onto the motherboard and I booted and everything worked, okay? It's not hard at all. You don't even need the SOIC clip. I did it from the flashdump inside the Ubuntu. Anyone can do it. There is absolutely nothing special. And I didn't write any code. I'm just stealing people's work, right? I didn't do any of that. So now we passed the Intel ME part. Now you guys telling me, which is right, again, I'm not downplaying at all, that now that you're saying there is a UEFI bootkit in this, or on any computer, like a Chinese computer. So you guys commented multiple comments on this. So first of all, you guys telling me that I should install core boot on it. I tried, I don't think there's a core boot support for this, and I'm nowhere near being an expert at making core boot compatible and working on this. It's just I don't know any of that stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to try, because I tried in Ubuntu, I booted into Ubuntu, it's on the video, in the previous video. I tried to boot into Ubuntu and try to read the ROM, the BIOS from the Ubuntu, did not work. We are going to do together. We are going to dump the BIOS and I'm going to try to investigate as much as I can. I'm not gonna spend so much time on investigating every single part of the UEFI, but I'm gonna spend a quality time to look and see if there is anything suspicious at all in the UEFI. And I will show you how you can do it. So hopefully, maybe someone else can do a better job and maybe find something, but I don't think. We'll see together. Let's get to it. For that, as I said, we have to take it apart because I can't read it from the flash ROM in the OS. So let's get into fast forward mode. Okay, I took it apart. Now, let's take it out. So let me first try to find the BIOS with just an eye. If not, I'm gonna bring the microscope. Give me a couple of seconds. Oh, actually, it was quite easy, honestly. It was right there. See, it says SPI ROM. It's right there in the corner. Okay. I appreciate the CWWK for labeling it. So SPI ROM right here. That is the BIOS. Okay. So let's take a look at it under my mighty Tom Love microscope. I just want to know the model, make and model. All right. Okay. Let me take a note of that. Okay, so what is it? Let me, I'm gonna record for you guys just in case I have footage. 25Q128 JVSQ. Okay, so it's a win bond. Okay, so it's a win bond serial node. It's this. Okay, I mean the last ending is not the same, but it's this, the W25Q128, and just the ending is S0 or something like that. Doesn't matter. So it's 128 megabyte flash storage, 8-pin SoIC. That's exactly what this is. Okay. What I am going to do is I'm going to show you guys how you can dump this. Okay, dump this, and then I'm going to show you how you can analyze it, investigate it, and reverse engineer it. I will be right back. All right, as you can see, I brought out the big guns, and by that I mean just the laptop with the Linux. Okay, so what I brought is also this chip programmer. Doesn't matter. I'm using XGECU Pro whatever. You can use whatever you like. And I put this together. I know there are clips that are ready-made and sold in Amazon. I don't like those. I made this, as you can see, with a bunch of cables myself. And I marked the pin 1 with the red. And you have to find the pin 1 on the chip. And in this case, it's bottom right. So what I'm going to do is I am going to very gently first plug this in because I can't move it afterwards. Okay. Plug that in. Okay, that's powered. Now I am going to very gently put that in there. I think it worked. Okay, now let me start recording my screen, and I am going to go to Drive C, XG Pro, Wine, XG Pro.app. Okay, this is again, it's just my app. Okay, let me minimize that. So this is my app. Okay. And that's my programmer, and this is W25Q128 JV. Doesn't matter. That's my SoIC, the SPI chip, the flash chip. Okay, now let's try to read it. Hopefully I connected it properly. Oh yeah, okay, so I am dumping the whole BIOS. Okay, and here you go, we dumped it. This is the BIOS file. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it. Okay, let's call this, give it a proper name. Call this cwwk.bin. Okay, and save. All right, so we saved it. Okay, so I am done with the programmer. We got the BIOS out of this, and it's not even powered on, so we just dumped it from it. And yeah, so now we have the the ROM UEFI BIOS code in my computer. And if I go to user data, there is the CWWK. So I'm going to CP the CWWK to my home folder. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is actually, I am going to show you one of the tools that I like to use mostly, for BIOS, just checking what's in there. It's called the UEFI RE tool. Okay, there you go. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just git clone this. Okay, and then let's go into this and Python 3 pip install HR requirements. Let's install all the packages that it needs. All right, let's try it. Okay, so let me copy this cwwk.bin over here. Okay, so what you can do is you can say get images. Okay, now this is actually going to extract all executables from this firmware. Okay, so we are going to say get images and the file name cwwk. It extracted all that stuff. So xdg open, let's open up this folder. Okay, and if we go to the, I believe, image or modules, let me see in the config file, where is it? So the dump there, PE there is modules. Okay, so it's in the modules. So we go to the modules. There we go. So we have a bunch of stuff in there. Okay, so if we go to modules, okay, so many files in there. So if I do file star, you will see a lot of them are ms-dos PE file, right? But it's not what you think. You cannot execute it in with Wine or in Windows. It is just a format, is a PE format, right? MZ header, and does have like a Windows binary format. Those are the binaries that we are interested in investigating. So what I can do is, so maybe I can copy all those stuff to another folder. So let's make directory and say binaries. Okay, so what I can do is say file star and then say grab executable, right? That word that's right there. Okay, I want just the ones that have executable on them, and then we are going to do awk and print one, right? I want the file name. Let's try this. Okay, so we are getting the executables, but it does have a colon though, so I have to remove that. So we can just probably, okay, let's do sub here. So sub this with nothing on the first column, and close that, and print print one. Let me check it again. Yeah, the only thing that's missing is right here, semicolon. Okay, let's try again. There you go, that's better. Now we have the files. These files are all executable files. So what we can do is we can write that into binary.txt. So we have a list of all the executables that are in this BIOS UEFI image. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually now let's copy all those files or move them out. Okay, let's move them. So what we can do is maybe just cat the binary.txt. Okay, so read the file, and then while read line, do mv line the file into binaries folder, and done, right? So yep, there you go. So we moved all the executables into that folder. The rest, these are like metadata and some other stuff that we don't really care about right now. First, we are going to take into the account the binaries. Okay, so if we do the count on the binary.txt, 126 binaries. Okay, so there are a lot of binaries in there. So what I would like to do is actually upload all these first, and just to scan it with the virus total, right there. I know, hear me out. I know it's not going to find the malware like that, right? But I would like to see which ones are actually looking like a little bit more suspicious, so I can spend more time on them, maybe. Because the 126 files, I'm not going to go through it. There's so many in there. The important ones that are like used in other UEFI, bootkit, and malware is usually in here, in the DXE core, for instance, right? And as you can see, that's bigger than the rest. It's 111 kilobyte. So that's the thing. I can't analyze every single one of these. So let me upload these to VirusTotal, establish the base, and then we take it from there. Give me a couple of seconds. Okay, so before I start working on these files, I just want to show you a pro gamer move. So if you are trying to upload, let's say 100 file to VirusTotal to be scanned, You zip it up, you zip all the files, you upload it. Initially, you will not see the relation zip. So here's the zip file. This is what I uploaded, binaries.zip, okay? First, when you upload it, there will not be a relations tab, but if you wait a couple minutes, 10 minutes or so, there will be relations tab, and you will see a lot of files, right? You will see all the files. If you keep expanding, you will keep show up, but we don't care about those. We only care about the ones that have at least one detection, and we have two with two detections. Don't get excited. None of them are a malware. They are just heuristics. Some engines think there is a malware, but it just gives me a better pointer to look at these files. The other files, I am not going to be able to go every single one of them. So now I just wanted to show you that. Now let me pause the video here. I'm going to manually go through these and open them up in Ghidra, take a look at them, and I will show you a couple of them. And then, yeah, that's kind of for now what I can show you. Yeah, I will be right back. But give me some moments. Let me go through these files. One very quick observation note: a lot of them is detected by BKAV probe, which I honestly never heard of, and it is like a AI detect malware, whatever. And I'm gonna lean towards false positive because you see these are all just one detection. So I'm gonna most likely ignore a lot of these, but the ones that are not from BKAV and the other ones I'm gonna investigate. I will be right back. Okay, so we are back. I checked every single one of them into Ghidra, and I will show you a couple of things, okay? This repo actually contains a lot of research that's been done over years on how you can install a rootkit or bootkit or whatever you want to call it, backdoor in a UEFI. UEFI is the BIOS, right? So BIOS, UEFI, you understand, it's the new very BIOS. So this tool is actually also there, UEFI tool. So I also have that too, UEFI tool and cwwk.bin. And you will see it will also load the ME region, BIOS region, and every single one of them is here. So if you keep expanding one of them, you will see that it also finds that executable. So here, DXE core, for instance, is a binary executable, and here, pre-E32 image. So what we are looking at is actually these files that you see here. And now you might say, what is DXE? So let me also explain that. DXE from UEFI organization itself, DXE is the driver execution environment. So just assume these are like components that BIOS UEFI is going to execute, let's say one by one or together, or some depend on the others, so they will have to wait for others to be executed and they will be executed. Doesn't matter. So DXE, imagine the driver execution environment. There are some code that getting executed, and as you can see, I loaded them in Ghidra, and they actually load. So let's say let me show you before that, let me show you the continue here. So in the UEFI, as you can see, these are boot sequences. This is taken from UEFI. And so what you see here is the DXE dispatcher and then DXE, the drivers getting executed, right? So there is historical information in here on types of bootkits or, you know, firmware bootkits and malware that's been discovered. So LoJack's in here, it's written in the EFI partition. It's the firmware file system backdoor, not applies here. We're also, remember, people who ship this usually will know people are not buying for a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet and 2 SFP ports to install a Windows on it, right? Obviously, it's not the case. People are buying this to run a pfSense on it and networking related stuff. So if they're going to backdoor, it's going to be pfSense backdoor. It's not there. So we ignore that. FFS, another one, Mosaic Regressor, ignore. FinSpy, and that's also FFS. It's in the EFI system of partition of the OS. Doesn't count. And we come down all the way and we see Moonbounce. The Moonbounce is actually the SPI flash rootkit, and it's actually sitting in the UEFI. And as you can see, it is in the driver execution environment. It's the DXE environment. So the files that we are looking at, one of these, so Moonbounce have that type of malware in the BIOS, in the DXE environment, and we are looking at them. I took a look at a lot of them, one by one, okay? So another example in here, you can see this is comparing the DXE. Another one example, detecting UEFI bootkits in the wild. So this, I went through this article. That's also explaining it all comes down to DXE and all that stuff, and how a DXE application, can basically get into the bootloader and then into the Windows when you're loading, and their code will be injected and inserted in there. So I take a look at every single one of them. Honestly, I did not find anything. The only file that's a little bit interesting, I'm just gonna show you that. So this is a function. This is a file, or this is a DXE, okay? And the file name pchinitfsptgl, I could not find any related to that. So if you take a random one, right? Legacy region DXE. So if you Google legacy region DXE, you know, you're gonna see some stuff. Not this one, obviously, not that, but you know, a lot of them I googled it and I found stuff, but not about that. Another example, like this one doesn't even have a file name, right? But if you Google it, you will see that there is definitely a list of pages with GUIDs and what they correlate to, and this one correlates to AME USB CCID. So what I can do is actually rename this to that, okay? So all of these have a name and correlation. Another example, let's take a look at this one. If you copy this insertion here, there you go. You see, they all are known and been there. People know about it, and also all stuff. This one does not. I did not see it anywhere. Does not mean anything. Does not mean anything. I'm just saying. And then when you look at it, this function, so for instance, like take a look at another function, this function, and if you go over here, Control-Shift-F, to find the references, there is another function calling it, okay? So that function is not dead. There is a caller to that function. But the interesting function that I'm talking about, if you do Control-Shift-F, there is no reference, no caller to this. It's a dead function, dead on paper. Maybe it's getting called from somewhere else, but not found in this binary and not referenced in this binary. The only thing that caught my attention, which is probably nothing, but it's referencing image NT headers, and then it's reading optional headers, and then reading the size of the image. But you have to remember, now you might get suspicious, but that's the thing. I found other files also referencing this, because the DXE drivers also have NT headers, image NT headers. They are binaries, they are PE files, they're like a Windows binary, they're like a driver. So they doesn't mean anything, and the code around it, as you can see, it's not really doing anything. It's at best case, it is just setting it to this value. Just could be that. And the other stuff that I see here that is getting called, I investigated. There is not much going on in there, honestly. And you always, I check the strings, but obviously they can obfuscate, doesn't matter. But you can always come to the window and go to the define strings. There's nothing in this one, but there are other ones had some strings in them. I checked them. I couldn't find really a smoking gun, obviously, but I just wanted to show you the tools. I just wanted to show you that you can do this thing. You can dump the firmware, extract the binaries, extract DXEs, upload them to VirusTotal, get a baseline established. If you don't want to do baseline established and just scan every single one of them, go for it. Go every single file, analyze them in IDA, in Ghidra, IDA, doesn't matter. And another thing is, I did a lot of grep. So again, as I said, I thought about these guys, like these guys, let's say they are malicious. They know their audience is not going to install Windows on this, right? So if Windows is not going to help. So what they would do is actually like backdooring pfSense that you're going to install, or OpenSense that you're going to install. I don't know, like maybe if they send some magic packets to pfSense installation, do this, do that, unlock it, log them in, give them the admin password hash or something like that. It's so sophisticated. I don't think these guys are into it. It should be, you can write a lot of papers on if they do something like that, but it's very sophisticated and very hard to pull off without getting caught. So the only code that comes with this hardware that's still Chinese and you can't override is just that file that's in there, the BIOS, the data, the code, the binary in the application that you see in there. 99% of them are identical to any other. It's just that I'm not experienced, I'm not skilled to modify or upgrade or edit or remove, install core boot or some alternative. So if you guys know how to do it, please let me know. I can try. So with that operating system, obviously you can install whatever you want. So that's the only thing that comes with this that does contain a code. Otherwise, this is all just the hardware. And I showed you how you can use these tools. I showed you UEFI tool, and there's a UEFI extract as well, right? So if you run that with UEFI extract, that also extracts the files. And I did with the UEFI tool, UEFI RE tool, which I also showed you. And I loaded up a bunch of them, took a look at them in Ghidra. Did not really find anything interesting in there. I did not find any. I did a lot of string greps, like for, I don't know, like a pfSense or OS image or boot or some keywords like the related login and the password, stuff like that. I couldn't find anything like that. But that I just wanted to show you in this video. I'm not exonerating anyone. I understand your concerns. I'm just saying everything is not really that secret. Anyone can do what I just did. And then if they had something hiding in there, hopefully some skilled reverse engineer can find it and blow the whistle, right? So just remember the backdoor XZ backdoor in the SSH, it just got discovered by some guy who was trying to basically benchmark and just noticed a half a second, 500 millisecond delay, and just started investigating and discovered the XZ backdoor, right? Yeah, that I just wanted to show you guys the tools are out there. You have all the tools you need to investigate. It's just a fun project. I might keep going at this. I just wanted to end the video here because I really didn't find anything obvious, at least. If I find anything, I will let you know. I really doubt it, but I will let you know if I find anything. So what I want to show you is that you can dump the firmware, analyze it, even do ME cleaning, put it back, maybe figure out how to do core boot, flash core boot into it, and at the end of the day, you can install whatever you want onto this and override all the code and software that comes with the hardware. But yeah, that's the, remember also there's Intel ME in every CPU, so if that's the backdoor, there's also there. So you can always suspect stuff. At some point you have to kind of let it go, I guess. You take the measures, do whatever you can, but up to a point, right? If you keep doubting everything, you also have to deal with Intel ME. AMD have the same thing. They just keep bringing Intel ME because there's an Intel ME cleaner, and we have done it on the motherboards. But anyway, so I just wanted to show you tools. I just wanted to show you DXE extraction, how you can analyze. I will keep looking at it, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have some great ideas on how to keep going at this. If you want me to share the files, let me know down below. I will share these binaries. There is also, I showed it in the VirusTotal. If you have VirusTotal Premium, you will be able to download it. But anyway, I will upload it for you if you want. And let me know what you think down below. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.